Well, here's the deal. Let me put on my Disco Inferno thingy. I can't even find the Disco Inferno. I'll just F it. Here. Forget the Disco Inferno thing. We're just doing this so you can hopefully hear what the hell I'm saying. Okay. Good news and bad news. Actually, it's bad news, kind of. I can't play along to live recordings anymore. At least the live Led Zeppelin stuff. I just went through Stairway to Heaven 12 times. And you know what the thing is? I can't hear it. I do my best. And the thing is, I used to play along to the 1973 Madison Square Garden Stairway to Heaven and a couple other songs. And I could play that, man, I'm telling you, I could fit it like a glove. In those days, I would play along to a little stereo I had. I didn't have headphones, nor did I have a camera and tape it. But of course, over the years, I've done all kinds of damage to my ears. And I'm going to post this. This last one I did is going to follow this. So, by the way, when I first, hear, you'll probably hear me better. Bear in mind, when the actual video I made starts, the one I'm going to post, my talking, as soon as the music kind of comes on, adjust your volume a little. But I just can't do it. I tried doing We're Gonna Groove a couple months ago, and I did it 2 or 3 times, and every time I got to the middle, it just became this swirling mash. I couldn't hear anything. So, and thank God what happened was I went upstairs and I realized you can't do We're Gonna Groove. So I was like, well, screw it. I won't put it on there anyway. So I wanted to put a little more Zeppelin up. There's not a lot more to choose from. I saw Stairway to Heaven live. I'm like, yeah, man, that's a layup. You know what I mean? I played, how many times I played along to that freaking recording? And it's hard to play along to that recording because the stuff you hear on the Song Remains the Same soundtrack, as well as the movie, are all cobbled together from different nights. They played the 27th, 28th, and 29th of July 1973. Today is July 28th, 2016. So that's 43 years ago, which I can't believe. God, I remember watching that movie and turning to my buddy and being like, man, can you imagine this is 7 years ago or 8? No. 82. So 9 years ago. Here we are, 43 freaking years ago. But what happens is I had the only version I could use. I need a dusting. The only version I could use is a remastered version, a 2006 or 2007. Of course, I couldn't get it a la carte. I bought the whole record yesterday. It was like $18.99. Bought it. I'm like, great. I can't wait to do the Stairway to Heaven. Yeah. Brought it down. I ran through it a couple times yesterday. I'm like, wow, I can't hear it. Well, maybe my ears are just a little funky. So I went through and I EQ'd it. I tried to EQ it the best way I could so I could hear it. But also, too, the key is I need to make sure that the drums aren't too loud there. Because then what's kind of the point of covering it if you can't really hear what the drummer's doing, right? But also, too, you really need the drums as a cue because it's kind of your reference. Because remember, a couple things. They're cobbled together from different nights. And the edits are pretty good. And the tempos are really good. But, page 2, I think, changed the solo a little bit, which I think is kind of interesting. But, what he did was, though, is for this remaster, I'm sure he did. People might disagree. But he lowered the drum level a little bit. It's not as loud. It's relative to everything else. Like when he remastered it, the drums have all come down. So I've had to really fight to keep it loud enough where I hear the drums, but then also, too, I don't want it too loud where you're sitting. But the guitars, because of the new mix, I think, are so loud that I have to, compensate by making everything louder and then trying to EQ the drums out, but then I can't really hear the drums because it's the same EQing on my end as is yours. I don't have separate EQing for my headphones. So I know this sounds like the Blues Brothers, where John Belushi's like, my tux was at the cleat, where Carrie Fisher has the M16 on him. She's in the tunnel. He's like, my tux was at the cleaners. There was an earthquake. Locusts. You know what I mean? It might sound like that, but it's actually worse than that because it's not. I'm kind of devastated. Like, my hearing's funky, man. It really is. So be careful of your hearing. I've been out to dinner and stuff and out with my family, my immediate family, and, I'll hear Dad, you can't hear, you got to get a hearing aid. And I'm laugh it off, It reminds me of that thing in The Kids Are All Right where Pete Townsend's telling the story to Keith Moon. He's like, I went to see me doctor the other day, and, And if Keith Moon's like, what do you say? You have horrible, horrible ears? He's like, yeah. Well, and he laughs from it. He goes, well, yeah, you might have to come down on doctors saying you might have to go easy. And Keith, and then they're like joking around, like, what? This is me living. You know what I mean? Starve, become a pauper. And Pete Townsend goes, no. Then the doctor says, no, well, I would advise you to learn to lip read. It's watch The Kids Are All Right Again. It's awesome. But I'm telling you, intimacy and honesty are the hallmarks of my channel. I really got to tell you, it'd be very easy for me just not to touch this song. But the fact of the matter is, no matter how I try to EQ it here, I can't. Once I get into the solo, it gets really muddy. I just really can't hear the drums. And part of the thing is, remember, it's real music recorded by real musicians. No click track. So there's a lot of emotional levels going on in certain parts. And when it's all a cohesive whole, you don't really notice when the time's moving a little. So you sort of need the cues a little. If the drums get a little buried when I'm playing, I just kind of hear the guitars, and suddenly you realize that, the snare drum, I'm flamming the drums a little, and that bugs the shit out of me. Plus, I think I'm destroying my ears more trying to blast it into my headphones. So my only covers now are going to be studio recordings because it's easier to EQ and just hear what's going on. I don't think I can do the live stuff anymore. Really, I'm 47 and I hate to admit it, but seriously, I can't do it. This is like the 12th time I played this. I probably could have done it after 2 or 3 takes. It still would have sounded all funky. One thing too, what always gets me is that dastardly, and in books and stuff, it's called a jarring edit. Listen to that. That's not in time. Even in the movie, even in this remastered, it's like and by the time I finally made it to that, and I totally forgot that, you gotta sort of pause it a little, and I can't do it. My ears I can't believe they're not smoking right now. Honest to God, I have to be honest, and I just can't play along to it. I think I'm ruining my hearing. But anyway, so you get to see now what actually happened. The last time I'm ever going to try to play along to a live recording. I did my best to do the usual chipper me and the whole deal. And I get to the end. Thank God I turned the freaking board off at the end, because you don't want to hear the swear words I was throwing around there. Anyway, more videos on the way, more covers, more Zeppelin covers. Again, I got to kind of weed through because there's not a whole lot to choose from, especially studio stuff. And some other covers too. And more Bonzolium stories. I have tons of them. And I really appreciate, there's a lot of people that really seem to like my channel. I really appreciate it. And a lot of people I know, like I know people in town here. Just the other day I was at a function and I saw somebody like, Terry, really love your video. I almost felt like he was like a gushing fan. That really makes my day. I love doing this. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of fun. So anyway, now what follows is the last time I'm ever going to try and play along to a live recording. Honest to God, I think it's still damaging my ears, even when I try to do it, and I just can't pull it off. Anyway, so it's kind of bad news. I mean, it's bad news for me. But anyway, more videos on the way. Who loves you, babies? Okay, so that's it. I'm going to put the microphone back where it typically goes, my patented axis of where I think I get the best sound. And now I'm going to try to use my iMovie to edit this together. So wish me luck. Hello. All right, I've had to try this a couple times because Jimmy Page, that wizard, he messed with this. I have to use the remastered 2006 or 2007. And he changed a couple things. As he does when he remasters. I think he goes back in and fiddles. In this case, he even changed the solo a little bit. There's like 2 or 3 seconds that he changed, that he took from another night. Remember, this was taken from 3 nights at Madison Square Garden, 27, 28, 29, 1973. July, today's the 28th, so it's the 43rd anniversary of smack dab the mean between the shows. But he changed it a little. And another thing he did is the drums are a little lower in the mix. They are. So I've had to adjust them. I need to hear the drums. I don't have a separate mix for what I hear and what you hear. Because remember, it's taken from a couple. Remember, it's human time anyway. But it's also taken from a few different nights. There's some edits in there. Not a whole lot, I think, in Stairway to Heaven compared to the other ones. Anyway, let's give it a whirl. Okay? This is for the 4th time. I've had to try and get the mix right.
I think this is a song of hope.
I have to skip ahead. This goes on too long.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's by